All right, everybody. It's been a while. Welcome to the Bessemer and Lake Erie and HO scale. I'm Ray Brown. Welcome back to the layout. It has been an interesting little bit. I have traveled for work quite a bit. And since we left off, I had my first operating session. And I'd say for a first time out of the gate, it went pretty well. But the one thing that was painfully obvious was I did not have enough power on the layout. We had a lot of brownouts, train starting to jerk pretty bad, and silly me, not really thinking you get a lot of these big multi-unit lash-ups going and you're running a lot of engines in a hurry. So what have I been doing? Well, a lot, actually, although it's not going to look like it. But the layout has been completely rewired. So I went from running 2 boosters to 7, although it looks like 8. One is just there for an auxiliary DCC bus that will be running all my SE74s. But I figured if I was going to do this, I wanted to do it once and never have to do it again. So if this isn't enough power, we are doing something seriously, seriously wrong. Alright, so what did that mean? Well, it meant I had to completely run all new bus lines, break the layout into more districts, and I can show you a little bit of that. There was a lot of the wire I tore out. One of the other things was I had just used some old wire that I had, and that was a bad idea. We had, from the command station over there to that far corner, which is about the furthest point away, almost a 2-volt drop. I now have a 0.02 volt drop. So changing the wire out definitely was a big deal. So what are we looking at now? Let's see if I can jump in a good spot. Of course, I probably picked a bad spot. Anyway, this is the main bus line. That is 12 gauge solid wire. I've got a bunch of these circuit breakers breaking the layout up. This is power that is just stubbed up for the Western Allegheny and Queen Junction. It's running off booster 6, and booster 6 will also run the Erie branch. Past that, you can see how I do a lot of my wiring. Feeders are just doorbell wire, and then I clip them in with these little lever locks. I like these because they can grab onto a lot of different size wire really well, and if you want to change something, it's real easy just to unclip them and go. But yeah, kind of get a sense of what the wiring looks like. It gets a little complicated around the switch machines, obviously. Some of that's just temporary, but power definitely should not be a problem now. Picked up some cars from a guy in the club, just breaking them in here behind a couple of my old Atherans. Like to get these out and stretch their legs once in a while. But he's going to a little bit more modern era. So I swapped him out some taconite cars. He had these Jennies. And then anything with roof walks he was getting rid of, so I took those box cars. But did my usual fare of painting the trucks and wheels to my standard. Don't ask me how that hopper car ended up on the end, it just did. So those are new to the layout. Just running them, make sure no derailments, no surprises. I gauge all the wheels and everything else as I paint them all, so should be good. Meeting one of my ore trains running here. This has been on the layout for a while, nothing new here. Oh, what else? Well, I do know. I don't think the last time I updated, KO has been rebuilt. So these are all new switches. It just used to be the left-hand crossover here, and as I got into ops, I realized I really need the right-hand crossover here too. Specifically, if a train was going to be coming down from the second deck and someone was working Shenango, you might want to run them left-hand over the KO line, which means they would come down the hill here, and you could cross them back over here at KO, which will ultimately be the job of dispatcher. As I did all the rewiring here, not only did I rerun the bus lines, but I also set everything up for block detection. Even if I didn't put the block detectors in, I got everything stubbed up, so all I have to do is drop the block detector in place and just connect a couple wires. Most of the layout went really fast. There were a few spots, the older spots actually, where I was just trying to get trains running and the wiring was kind of, well, it was a mess, let's put it that way. But it's all straightened out now, and we should be good to go for the foreseeable future. I mean, things that aren't built out yet have everything stubbed up, and there is plenty of power on the layout, so wiring is not something that should be a big project again in the future. So should be good to go there. So KO was rebuilt. I'll show you a couple other spots that have been rebuilt or rethought. One, the Allegheny Industrial District. New switches here, and these are on motors. I've got a couple temporary buttons in there. I changed which way the crossovers go. So it did go left-hand crossover first, and then a right-hand crossover. And I changed it around. Partially, I think that's going to work better for when you're working this area. That was really the main reason. And then I turned around to the switch down at this end because this was my crazy idea. So there was just a switch coming this way into what will be the Allegheny Industrial. But I decided to make it a right hand going that way. And that track going off that way, I'm going to make a little triangular addition in here. And that's going to be the Chesapeake and Harmar. So I'll have some coal traffic coming off there, some interchange for the stuff coming out of Westinghouse. So to work the Allegheny Industrial, you'll come in, you'll take this siding. I'll probably have a run around on the C&H, and you'll come back this way into the Allegheny Industrial, which I think I'm going to try to do like a little bit of a play on time saver track work. I am in no way trying to copy the original Allegheny Industrial. It wasn't even there yet. This is supposed to be 1952-ish. I'm only adding it to have some extra traffic that's not just coal and ore running back and forth. But I do want to set it up so who's ever working it will come out of North Bessemer, cross the big bridge, come into here, onto the C&H, and then once you're in there, you're off the grid. You can take all the time in the world you want working on my little switching puzzle I'll eventually build here someday, watching the trains go by in the background, and we're all ready to go back. You can just head right back on out and back from whence you came. So that's the plan there. This little bit of track work here, that was pretty fun to build. Yeah, really enjoy building track. Boy, it does take some time. And a couple other spots. Like I said, I've been busy. I really should have been updating more. This is, what would this be? The south end of Shenango. So, rebuilt these switches, changed it around. The plan here, this is kind of the one spot in the layout where space really kind of folded in on itself. Going to the left, this will be the interchange with the Erie, and I will take a track going off under the Osgood Viaduct for the Erie. So that'll be the Erie interchange at Shenango. The switch in the front will be two tracks here, and you can see another switch I cut in over there. Those will be the interchange tracks for the New York Central. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to put the truss bridge kind of over where the train's coming out right now and under the bridge, you know, kind of like in that picture there. And that'll also serve as a little bit of a view block for going back into that corner. So, not sure what I'll do here. I might pull a track coming off this way that just comes off the layout that, you know, you can imagine that it went off to the New York Central. And then here's that other switch I cut in. I don't know about any of the rest of you, but cork has gotten so hard to come by. I just started buying sheets of it off Amazon and just cutting it. I don't know why cork is such a weird commodity to get all of a sudden. Got 2 more of these cars done. So these are old roundhouse kits, so I've been painting them and lettering them. So just working down, I got the 31 and the 30 added to the collection here. That was good timing. I like the way they turn out. Yeah, I know KD makes the cars, but these are about 1/4 of the cost. And I kind of have a good time building them. By the time you get the KD couplers on them and the metal wheels, they run just as good as anything else. And I throw a little extra weight in them. I get them up to about 3.5 ounces a piece. And that seems to be pretty good. Alright. Then changed out this switch and got cork under it at the south end of Greenville and added this turntable lead from this side. And I did that because if somebody's running the passenger train and I'm running the steam engine, I didn't want them to have to come off their train and go all the way around to come back to turn the engine, to come back all the way around. This way you can just go right on the turntable, turn your engine right back to the depot. The transfer table is going to be coming out and turning 90 degrees anyway. And that brings me to the last thing here. What is this? It is certainly out of era. This isn't 1952 looking stuff, Mr. Brown. So I grew up in Girard, Pennsylvania. Still live in Girard, Pennsylvania. And I fell in love with the Bessemer in the early 90s. They were still running cabooses. And the way I remember coal trains coming into Girard was, they'd usually come in with a good 100 cars loaded. And then they'd have all this stuff on the bottom for interchange at Wallace. I actually remember these orange Sclair covered hoppers going to EMSCO. But there was always some coil cars, maybe a scrap, a flat car with some wheels on it on the bottom end of these coal trains. So I've been picking up the 100-ton hoppers. Thank you to everyone who's been buying the, who just came out with them? Tangent. The Tangent ones, because all of a sudden you can get these Bowser ones pretty cheap on eBay. So let's pick a good one to zoom in on here. Doing my usual stuff, painting the wheels, painting the truck, so weather the springs a little bit just to kind of highlight the detail. But got those coming together. I've been making loads. I got a video, if you scroll back through my old videos, of how I make loads. And of course I probably don't have a magnet handy. Oh yes I do. Bear with me here. I like to make my loads where they are magnetic removable. I think that's just a handy thing. Nothing worse in my mind than having loads that are really hard to get in and out. So we'll get that going. I got power for this this train, and we'll have one train on the layout that's the Bessemer I grew up with train. That's what I keep calling it. Anyway, That's enough of me rambling on. And the layout's a little bit of a mess. I mean, I had to gut it. You should have saw it a couple weeks ago. I mean, it just looked like the layout threw up. There was just wire all over the floor and just wire everywhere. So it's been a process getting it all back together. But like I said, I think I'm in a really good spot now. Really happy where I'm at today. All right, everybody. I'll try to get back to posting some more regular updates as we move forward here. Hope everybody's enjoying the holiday weekend and took some time to be with the family and everything. And I will see you all next time here on the HO Scale, Bessemer Lake Erie.